After an extremely exciting Wimbledon last match, tennis fans all over the world were looking forward to seeing Kyrgios and Novak Djokovic go head-to-head in the Dubai World Cup. These two are arguably one of the best duos to see on the court, so you can't imagine our disappointment when we didn't get to see them together again. Keep watching this video as we talk about what happened at the tournament. First up, the sudden withdrawal. Djokovic and Kyrgios were set to compete in what was the most hyped-up match of the brand new team competition in Dubai. This was supposed to be the first time they went head-to-head since the world number 5 defeated the Australian in 4 sets to earn his 21st major title at Wimbledon earlier this year. Fans were ready to see these two tennis giants have a rematch, and the stage was set for one of the biggest tennis events this year. But all of our expectations crashed and burned when it was announced that Novak would be pulling out of the match. Right after the women's singles match ended and fans started mentally preparing themselves for the legendary matchup, the on-court announcer picked up the microphone and announced that the Serbian player wasn't completely feeling well and won't be able to play this evening. He then reassured fans that Novak was still in the stadium to support his team and the fans. The game between Team Falcons and Team Eagles still went ahead as fans eagerly waited for Novak's entrance back onto the floor. The 35-year-old was seen talking to Kyrgios ahead of the match while sitting on the Team Falcons bench all evening, supporting his teammate during both the mixed doubles and women's singles matches. Moving on, Kyrgios' reaction. Although Kyrgios was a little upset that he didn't get another chance to play against Djokovic, he still realized that he had a valid reason for his withdrawal. He did an interview after the match in which he mentioned how he'd been really looking forward to playing against the Serbian player since their Wimbledon final fiasco. He'd been training hard for this moment and just wanted to go out on the court and have some fun with him. While he was disappointed that it didn't happen, he understands how important it is for an athlete to take care of their body. Plus, Novak has a busy few months ahead with lots of demands, so his decision wasn't that surprising. Up next, tennis fans are upset. While Novak's opponent was relatively understanding about his decision, we can't say the same about the crowd present in the stadium and the fans watching from their homes around the world. Because Novak quickly became public enemy number 1 after his withdrawal, fans took over social media to express their disappointment with the veteran player. They brought up random moments from the tournament, such as Knowles sitting on the bench during Dimitrov's victory and laughing with teammate Aryna Sabalenka and Team Falcons coach Jonas El Ayanoy. While the players were having a good time, the fans were in a bitter mood. At one point, a video of Novak dancing to a Bollywood song started making the rounds on Twitter, with fans claiming that he seemed fit enough to dance, yet he couldn't play a match for fans who travel from all over to support him. They began speculating on social media to understand Djokovic's withdrawal from the most important match of the campaign, but other Djokovic supporters came through and praised the 35-year decision, skipping the friendly match. They argued that the match wasn't worth causing potential harm to the star's physical health. Following up, Novak has a supportive team. Despite the world number 5 suffering a shocking loss to Alexander Zverev in his opening match of the week in the newly introduced mixed-gender event, Novak Djokovic's World Tennis League teammates have constantly been praising the influence of the Serbian player at the competition in Dubai. The 21-time Grand Slam champion is a member of Team Falcons, along with Grigor Dimitrov, Paula Badosa, and Aryna Sabalenka. Team Falcons' first-round opponent was the extremely strong team of Hawks members Zverev, Dominic Thiem, Elena Rybakina, and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. The December 20th match outcome of the Falcons shocked us all. Zverev kept Djokovic on his toes, who had an invincible form in 2022. In the end, he defeated the world number 5 to win the final match of the day 6-3, 6-4. Still, Djokovic's teammates praised his influence and expressed their desire to learn from the greatest despite suffering a shocking defeat. Badosa spoke to the press after she and Dimitrov defeated the Hawks, Thiem, and Pavlyuchenkova, with strong encouragement from Djokovic on the team bench, and said they're just having fun, enjoying the moment at the same time competing in one of the biggest tennis tournaments. They think that it's a great chance for them to grow, and the fact that they're able to do that with Novak's support is a blessing in itself. Finally, the real hero of the match. It wouldn't be wrong to say that Grigor Dimitrov, who's also known as Baby Fred, saved the day for the Falcons on December 21st at the Coca-Cola Arena by filling in for an unwell Novak Djokovic and helping his side win their first match in the 4-team World Tennis League. Bianca Andreescu and Rohan Bopana of the Eagles were defeated by Dimitrov and Aryna Sabalenka by a score of 2-6 and 7-6. After the news broke about Djokovic, he stepped up as a late substitute and played the last match of the day against Nick Kyrgios, and he played just as well as the 21-time Grand Slam champion, with the way he had Kyrgios sweating and struggling to keep up and score. Dimitrov, who briefly dated women's world number 1 Maria Sharapova, thrashed the Australian in straight sets 7-6, 6-3, all while looking completely unfazed. It seemed like just another long day at the workplace for him. Now he can only imagine what the enormous crowd at Dubai's brand new sporting facility in the city felt after the announcement. They would have felt let down initially, but Dimitrov more than made up for it with a brilliant performance against a challenging opponent, who was experiencing defeat for the second day in a row after losing to Felix Auger-Aliassime. Moving on, let's look at what Kyrgios has to say about Novak's returning to the Australian Open. Firstly, the much-awaited return. After being limited to 2 Grand Slam competitions and 4 Masters 1000 events in 2022, it seemed like the 9-time Australian Open winner was going to miss the competition again in 2023, but thankfully, Novak Djokovic was finally granted a visa to compete in the Australian Open in 2023, and it looks like we aren't the only ones happy to see him back in the tournament. Nick Kyrgios, his opponent in this year's Wimbledon final, was asked about his thoughts on this at the World Tennis League in Dubai, where both players are competing, and he said he couldn't be happier about the Australian government's decision. He said that Novak should be playing in the tournament at all costs. So even Kyrgios realizes that Novak's one of the best players of all time, and the tennis world needs him at these events as long as he's going to be playing and hanging out. He mentioned that he considers the Serbian player a rival in the sport, and if he's going to win a tournament, then he wants to do it with Novak playing. The Eagles got off to the best possible start on December 23rd when Nick Kyrgios and Bianca Andreescu defeated Dominic Thiem and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-4, 4-6, 10-7. But then, Elena Rybakina, the Wimbledon champion, came through and defeated Carolina Garcia, the WT Finals champion, with a decisive 7-5, 6-1 victory to bring the Hawks even. Unfortunately for Kyrgios and his team, the Hawks were able to advance to the final round of the championship when Zverev emerged and secured his second victory in the games. Following up, is Kyrgios retiring? Kyrgios' comments about Novak aren't surprising considering the two of them established one of tennis's most unlikely friendships this year after the 27-year-old was one of the few athletes to publicly defend the Serb during his ordeal in Australia. He supported him when he was going through 2 visa cancellations and spent time in a government detention hotel before being kicked out of the country. But we may not have much time left with our favorite duo. This is because Nick Kyrgios gave an interview in which he confirmed that if he wins the Australian Open next month, he's going to end his career as a professional tennis player. The 27-year-old player mentioned that he isn't a big fan of the attention that his home Grand Slam will bring. Earlier this year, Kyrgios came very near to winning his first major championship. He competed all the way to the Wimbledon championship match before falling to Novak Djokovic. The fame and honor that comes with winning a tournament aren't that interesting for him anymore. This is because he doesn't like spending the majority of his year away from family while playing on the ATP Tour, and this is something he's been very vocal about throughout his professional career. According to Kyrgios, Australian players have it much harder than players from America or Europe just because of how far away from home they really are. Lastly, Nadal and Djokovic will lead next year. The current world number 2, Nadal, has 22 Grand Slam wins to the Serb's 21 wins, and with both players set to compete in the Australian Open next year, we're going to see history get made. Both Nadal and Djokovic will renew their competition to earn the most men's singles titles in Grand Slam history in January 2023, and by the end of January, we might have a tie of 22 wins, with the world number 5 being the favorite to win because of his success in Australia and current form. But his opponent isn't going to let Djokovic get the trophy that easily. The Melbourne champion from the previous year is aware that his longtime foe is among the strong favorites to win, but he's in good form himself, so nobody can really predict how the tournament will go. Then there are also the young and new players taking part. Regardless, we're going to be in for an amazing championship. That's a wrap for this video. Were you disappointed to hear Novak won't be playing? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.